some people don't know, like, do I want value add? Do I want turnkey? Do I want Hamilton? Do I want Toronto?
Yeah.
Right. So the education process is really each other figuring out exactly what we're looking for. And then from there, we just go find it. They're tough.
Yeah. Like it's not the fit for somebody who just, wants to put their whole nest egg into one deal and just make it work, force it to work, which, I mean, I've been that guy.
Me too.
That's not the deal. That's not this deal. Welcome back to REI Hot Seat. Andrew Hines here with David Hulshof, and we are back for the new year.
We are back.
Yeah, so it's actually been quite a while because I had a baby and then couldn't figure out my schedule.
Congratulations.
Have we even done a deal together yet or a show together since?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I think this is finally.
First one.
Yeah, so it's been like almost 2 months since we've sat here doing this.
You look very well rested.
Yeah. I'm better rested than my wife right now. So
God bless her.
Yeah, she's doing a good job at night, and I sleep in my other son's bed. So
nice. Yeah, there you go. That's how you look.
Slightly
rested.
better sleep.
Yeah.
He won't sleep alone, so kind of to my advantage.
Love it. Good for you.
Anyway, so today we're talking about a building. I don't know anything about this one, so I kind of like it that way. Let's just do this fresh.
Yep.
So we're screen sharing here. We'll show whatever we can. But why don't you just high level, Dave, tell me about this one.
Yeah, so another off-market deal, 11 unit in Kitchener, purpose-built, poured concrete. It's the deals we're doing a lot of right now, that kind of hybrid, turnkey with a little bit of lift.
Okay.
Can take it direct to CMHC, so it doesn't have CMHC debt on it, but the purchaser can get the time to do that before closing.
So they'll allow for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And what attracted you to this deal, just in terms of thinking it was good for the show, thinking it's good for a client? Like, if you had to say what you liked about it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on. The cap rate's good based on where it is, the time to go to CMHC. So when we model out the CMHC debt on top of the deal, it's under the standard program, you're 85% loan to value, 1.2 debt cover. So it kind of hits the metrics. Plus, it's in Kitchener. It's in a good area.
Yeah.
So it kind of hits a lot of the key points.
So being in Kitchener, you're obviously in a place that's got, long, stable track record.
Yeah.
Very, very good industry. Plus, just it's right on the 401. So you got that too.
Yeah. The owner owns a few buildings. Mm-hmm. He owns a construction company. So a lot of the CapEx is done. So they're really nicely run, properly managed buildings. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd say probably 60s built.
60s build? Okay.
Be my guess, yeah.
All right, so 60s build, there's obviously some implications there. Usually there's old boiler systems, baseboard probably.
Yeah, baseboard heat.
Baseboard boiler or baseboard electric?
Electric.
Baseboard electric.
Yep.
Okay, so there's no central heat for the building?
Nope.
Okay. And obviously in today's modern age, those buildings have become more valuable because of the ability to add heat pumps in.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy how that became in front of it, right?
It just changed everything, right?
Yeah. The numbers are good. It's a mix of ones and twos, but which we can go over.
Yeah, let's take a look at these numbers here. So you got 11 residential units showing there. So, starting at the top, list price is at 2.5. Now, it's not actually listed. This is just an off-market listing with you.
Yeah, and so typical to what happens, they tell us really where the seller will certainly transact, which is 2.5. I just run it under, sometimes we'll leave it at that, but I put the 2.3 offer price to where I really want to start the discussion or where I really think it's a good deal. So 2.3 is, I'd probably start on an offer a little lower, but that's a good
sure. Okay, so 2.3 is where you would be thinking. Yeah. And okay, so let's scroll down a little bit, look at the mix of units. So this one's 2 beds and 1 beds.
Yeah.
No bachelors in there. That's a nice little mix of
it's
units.
A nice mix, yeah. And then you see there's some lower ones,
couple of
some
super
high market rents. Like it's a good blend.
Man, you're crushing if you got your rents down at. I know we've seen lower, but you're in the 800s on a 1-bed in Kitchener.
In a building like this, yeah. And the thing too with a rent like that is you're surrounded by most of these are really good tenants.
Well-to-do tenants. You know what I mean? Yeah, you've succeeded.
Like we've seen the 500-600s, but they're surrounded by all 500-600 unit month rent, right?
Yeah,
not as good.
Yeah, they're in buildings that you get what you pay for. In this case, maybe not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
I am noticing sort of on the market rents there are there's some random numbers there. You got a 1523 on unit 7 there.
This one here.
Yeah,
for market you mean?
Yeah, it's your market potential.
Yeah. So the theory here is just the spread to market was low enough that we just moved it over.
You're just saying that's the rent. You feel like it's pretty much at market.
Exactly. Same with this one, right? Like,
yeah, they're basically 1,500 a month units.
So it's a good point to note though. Like, the actual stabilized true value would be higher than this, because technically you'd be getting, higher for a one bed there.
All right, so we got that little error fixed now. We're showing proper spread to market here. So a couple of them are at market rent. What's our total potential here in terms of our spread to market? So $4,781 can be added. Is this one of those deals where you're thinking like that's really the play? Or you're just expecting sort of over time that's going to happen? Like, you're not going to go in there and try and force them out.
The thing I love about these hybrid deals right now is you can go, and we'll show it next, but you can go send it to CMHC, cash flow positive, and then you've got yourself a good building, and you're going to get this natural turnover. There's also, you'll see it later on, they're not charging nearly enough for parking. Same things we always talk about. There's a boatload of storage not being utilized. That's the play. I don't think working to try to
there's easier ways. You're going to get natural turnover anyway. Like some of these people, and now granted, you might have your retiree that's in a unit that's never leaving, but some people, they want to start families or they're moving for some reason or another. Like, you're going to get turnover.
Yeah. In fact, one of the lower paying one beds here, they just, oddly enough, like you, just had a kid, so they want to move out. So you're going to get that natural progression, but I think that's the key to success on these deals, is not having to work to try to add substantial value to cash flow positive. Those are tough.
Yeah, like it's not the fit for somebody who just wants to put their whole nest egg into one deal and just make it work, force it to work, which, I mean, I've been that guy.
Me too.
That's not the deal. That's not this deal.
That's not this deal. This is a little safer. That's why I'm calling those hybrid blends.
Yeah, this is more of a medium-term outlook. This, it's part of your portfolio. It's not your whole portfolio. You're ready to put some money into a place that is seemingly a very sound investment.
Yeah. And that's why we do this sort of number here, right? What the stabilized value is.
Yeah. So that's stabilized value. Just explain that.
So that's if we were able to actually get all of these market rents right here. Yeah. What the value of the building would be.
And then, just applying the cap rate that you have there. So that's sort of based on what you're seeing in the market, based on recent appraisals you're seeing, you think 5.25 is where it should be.
Yeah, I think in a building like this in Kitchener, you can pull off a 5.25 cap.
So 5.25 is where you're expecting it to trade. So, and that's what I love, and we've said this so many times about multifamily and commercial real estate, is like, it's all numbers. Yeah. There's a right answer. Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, there's a right answer.
Honestly, we're certainly within a variance, a tight variance, right? Yeah. And we do this.
Yes, you add that value. They see it. Any other buyer sees it. They apply the cap rate to the bottom line of your operating income, and they come up with a number to offer. So it certainly is helping. It doesn't mean they won't lowball you, but they see the value. Anybody does. Appraisers do. Banks do.
All the time. And that's why you'll see deals go up, and people just go, "There's no way it's not going to sell." Right? Because you can just apply this simple formula.
You just look at the math, and
it doesn't make sense.
Surely there's going to be somebody inexperienced that might buy those deals that don't make sense, but not in the world of experienced people.
And in this market, I think there's good quality deals. So I don't think even the newer people are out buying outrageously overpriced stuff right now.
Yeah. You're seeing a good amount of inventory, like in the off-market channels you guys are in, or also on the market too?
Off-market, almost exclusively off-market.
Okay. Yeah, and quick plug for the REI Hot Seat Insiders list. That's why you want to be on it, because these guys have all these off-market deals, and if you want to be able to have access to them, best place to be.
Yeah, it's probably before it was like 80. It's probably 90% right now. I think you're going to see in January, obviously, a lot more inventory is going to come. Yeah. We'll do an update to see if a lot of that lands on the market, but as of right now, most of everything we're seeing is off.
And going back to the logic behind that. This is my take on it. It's just like, you're in the know, and you're going to know other guys that know that you're in the know. So they got a good building, they just call you because they know you have clients, vice versa. Exactly, That's the way that world works, that tight net world of multifamily investor focused realtors.
It's, you think about it, like we get a new listing. We're going to send it to our clients first, right? Every commercial agent tends to do that. Nothing transacts. Then he goes to the other agents that are technically our competition, but that they do a good job as well, and they'll transact. So the reason we do that, we don't want a listing to go and be under contract for 45 days, fall through with somebody, then another person, and then 3 months into a listing and we've lost our momentum and it's a new market.
Right? Yeah, I love the idea of keeping stuff off market from a seller's perspective. I don't ever want to be on the market because for investment stuff, because you lose the ability to position it, to tell the whole story. What this building is, where if it's off market, you're not leading with a useless photo that doesn't tell the story.
Right.
You're leading with what is it that is appealing about this deal, and you lead with that.
Yeah.
Which you guys have the ability to do in your email. But the MLS is so standardized. You just got photos and a list price. That doesn't tell you what you need to know.
And there's sometimes we do, right? Like we want to capture a wider audience. There's a few things we have with assumable debt coming out.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a very niche product, I think, in this particular.
But I like that in an email. Assumable debt.
Yeah.
That's the subject line.
Well, it's funny because Jake and I are chatting about, do we go with our normal process, which is off market to our clients first, follow the same model, but then to clients, then to the market. And we might do that with this, or just throw it on MLS. We're debating. But most of the time, we're doing exactly what you said.
Yeah, there's obviously a time and a place for MLS. I've listed plenty of stuff there. I've got lots of stuff listed there in Florida right now. Some things you just need to get lots of eyes on it.
And if MLS, like let's say as we enter into January, like we're now, but over the next couple of weeks, if we don't see a lot of inventory going to MLS, if the trend that we see right now continues, which is like 98% off market,
you'll start throwing some stuff on.
Let's toss some on market, right? Like why not? There's really nothing floating around on there.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
That's how we balance that out.
All right, so let's look through the rest of this deal. I want to see kind of the macro numbers on it as well.
Yeah, just to highlight, like parking, they're getting $35 a month. I mean, doesn't take a genius to say there's opportunity there.
What do you think? You could go like 75, 100?
There's 16 spots here.
Yeah.
So at least 50 a
At least 50? Okay.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the commentary was only 2 of the parking spots are attached to the leases.
Okay.
So
that's a mistake not to be repeated.
Yeah. They're all, and then other monthly income is storage. And again, there's a whole bank of storage units in this building. And it looks like they're charging for half of one, So anyways, more opportunity.
Yeah,
for
only
lift,
$40
right?
for the whole bank of storage.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
all right, so there's some opportunity, just a little bit of tweaks with management.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if we'll go to modeling on CMHC debt.
So this is CMHC 85% loan to value, the classic program that's been around for ages.
You got it.
There are other programs like you said, but you want to make sure, number one, that you qualify for the main program.
Yeah, we always build on the standard program, and if you want to go with the select, which is
higher ratio.
Yeah, but again, you can get lost in doing analysis with all, and right? You can go
way too many different ways. You just got to pick one way, and
yes.
And then if you're the person looking, be consistent with the way you look at your 100%. Deals too.
And we use this as the filter to even bring or look at deals. We did, we did 1,500 last year, right? Analysis. So what filters can we put on? So if instead of modeling, hey, the new program is CMHC, you can go 95% loan to value, 1 debt cover, every deal is going to look good that way.
Yeah.
I think we just cut it out. Yeah. We go through the standard program. We used to say the old program, and people didn't want to talk about it as much because it sounds bad. Old, right? Maybe we say vintage.
You can call it the classic.
The classic?
The vintage
standard.
program.
We've been calling it standard.
Standard sounds fine.
Standard is good. So just to clarify, standard program, 85% loan to value, 40-year amortization.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Since we're doing nuts and bolts in this one, because I've been asking a lot of nuts and bolt questions. So CMHC, that's the insurer, government-backed insurer that insures the lender so that they can't lose money. I mean, I'm sure there's a way they could still lose money, but it makes the lenders way more comfortable, which is why they give better rates. They give longer amortization. You pay for it. Yep. It's like, what, 4% or something? 4 or 5%? Yep. Added to your mortgage. So it's not free, but a lot of people do it because it makes the deals work when they would not otherwise. Correct. And then for the life of that mortgage, you get the preferential rates. So in theory, you should save that money back.
Well said.
Okay, so that's why we do this. That's why so many people are borrowing with CMHC mortgages. It used to be all, in my world anyway, just regular conventional 25-year AM. But I mean, the market has dictated that the 25-year AM on multifamily buildings isn't really going to get it done.
No.
When so many other people are using insured debt and driving up the price because they're willing to pay more because they know they can get financing that works for them.
Yeah. Beautiful summary. So 85% loan to value, 40-year amortization, and we need to hit a 1.2 debt cover. Yeah. So what you'll see here is you're actually hitting a 1.25 debt cover. So a little bit better,
Yeah.
a little bit more rich. So more money coming in
Yeah.
to cover the debt.
So obviously our viewers care, what's left for them, what do they got to put in and what are they getting on a monthly basis? What kind of cash flow are we looking at?
Yeah. So if we talk about just the short term, the capital needed, so this includes your down payment, land transfer tax. We build in a lender fee, broker fee. Doesn't mean you're going to pay that, right? There's certainly some fees you're going to be paying.
Yeah.
We put 1% for both. So that's just for clarity, is your mortgage broker and your lender.
Yeah.
Not our broker fee.
And then it would cover any sort of hopefully cover any inspections you got to get or analysis reports.
Yeah. So we've got down here too as well. Closing costs.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you got all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just to clarify, environmental appraisal, inspection, those kind of things.
So in other words, that 445 should be conservative.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And just a note, if you're going to buy multifamily, do an environmental. We were just having this conversation.
Yeah.
As somebody was looking at,
Right.
maybe not going that route, and it's
No, you got to do it.
If you want to, you got to make a very educated decision on that, and I just err on the side of caution. Just pay the fee and get the environmental.
Yeah, it's not that much for a phase one, and if you find out that a phase two is needed, well, now you start asking questions and you start renegotiating the deal. So. If there isn't one, I mean, obviously you can get one. If the seller has one, you can take theirs, right? But for what, like $2-3 you should be able to get one done.
Yeah, and sometimes like there's circumstances like we sold a smaller sixplex in London, surrounded by residential, and the environmental guy said, "Look, he didn't need the full report."
Yeah.
So he paid them less than $3,000, and they just put together an opinion, right? Letter of opinion.
Yeah.
Here you go. So in any event, just aside, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who are trying to execute quickly and skipping some steps that I don't think you'd want to be skipping.
That's not really, if your plan is to get conventional financing down the road and to have resale potential, like it's a risk. It's a pretty big risk for a very low cost. And any seller should be understanding that you need to get an environmental.
Do you know the times where we get pressure for, hey, you got to execute this quickly? It's always something funny going on.
Yeah.
Right? You get the resistance to do the environmental. You do the environmental, and when you know,
Find something.
Right?
Yeah.
It's usually that. Guys like this seller, it's sure, take the time you need, 30, 45
Right, and that's
days.
the answer you want, right? If the seller is not being reasonable about that, you start asking questions. Well, why is it that you don't want me to get this?
Why would that be an issue, right?
Yeah.
So in any event, circle back to your question. Capital needed call it $450,000, and cash flow on an annual basis is $25,000.
Yeah.
And if we look at what we're including in the expenses, property taxes, property management at 7%, I think we can do better than that for sure.
Yeah.
Utilities are actual, and just if we look at utilities, they're on the high side.
Yeah.
These numbers seem out of whack, like gas at 158 and then hydro at 1,200. Something's wrong there.
Right. Okay.
But it seems they're probably itemized incorrectly.
Itemized incorrectly, but you're saying that roughly that should be about right.
Yeah, and my litmus test is over here.
Unless their hydro is, never mind. Yeah. Well, you said they didn't have central heating.
Yeah, but it's gas hot water tanks. So I couldn't imagine.
All of them are gas?
Yeah, I think so.
Submetered? Separately metered?
I don't think so.
Just one?
I think it's one.
Huh.
But I'll tell you, this is my litmus test here.
Yeah.
A percent of operating, right? Total operating cost is a percent of rent. So it's 42%.
Should be a little lower than that, right?
Should be lower. So all that to say, that means I'm comfortable that this number is either accurate or high.
Yeah.
It's not low.
Like you would think 35% or less, right?
Yeah. And if it is 42, then great, because there's an area for...
There's a lot of room to grow.
got it.
There's
Exactly.
room to improve, save money.
Exactly. So utilities, 25,000, vacancy at 2%, salaries, which is grass cutting and snow removal, 6,100, insurance at 7,000. That's their current insurance. May go up.
Yeah.
Mortgage, and then maintenance and labor. So some of these numbers are padded. They're CMHC numbers.
Yeah.
So I would expect your actual annual cash flow to be higher.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. And so for the maintenance number, how that's 4.25%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what
You
one
got
was, and then I know management, you're using a higher number than CMHC uses.
Yeah, they're going to use 1.25.
Yeah, you're just using the real number that they're using.
You'll get lower. Like you'll probably get 5 or 6 in actual fact, but
okay, gotcha.
I was in a mood when I put this together, I guess, and put 7.
Yeah, seven's all right. That's good and
7's
conservative.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what we have here to summarize, I mean, is a deal that I think, so it's a purpose-built building, so it's going to be 60s built. It's going to be well built.
Yeah.
There's seemingly lots of room to cut expenses, hopefully.
Yep.
And or get income up. So
you got it.
a combo of things you can do to add value to the building over time, and you can get into something that's going to cash flow. Of course, you got to have that money ready and waiting to put that down payment down, but looks like it could be a pretty good buy.
Yeah, you're buying it. What do we see here? 4.5 cap. Right, this is at $210 a door, direct to CMHC, cash flowing positive. You're more than a 1.2 debt cover at 85%.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you could make the things you could do differently. You could make your down payment much lower with the MLI Select program here,
for sure,
and would qualify. Should qualify. But your cash flow will be less.
Exactly. Yeah, and the nice thing is this is a very in the weeds, but you're constrained on your loan to value because your debt cover is 1.25. So if you could go higher, like I bet you, we could hit out 90% loan to value and still be at 1.2, pretty close. See what I'm saying?
Right, but no, the
program won't let us do that.
I thought MLI, if you go,
MLI
you have to get the points though.
Yeah, MLI will, but the standard. So just for context,
standard will only let you go to 85%. I thought.
That's correct. Yeah. I'm just seeing. So these are the reasons we like it, right? So you're more than required on your debt cover. Your capital requirements below $500,000 for an 11-unit purpose-built in Kitchener.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of things that I think a lot of people have the ability, certainly in the audience of this show, to figure a way to pull that down payment together and own a quality asset.
Yeah.
So that does make it a cool looking
That's
deal.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I did think about it myself a little bit.
There you go. Yeah,
could I put something
you didn't know
together?
I was trying to sell you on this whole time. Yeah.
No,
so
if
Andrew doesn't do it, it'll be available. Yeah.
Cool. No, I'm also thinking save the money for Florida. But no, very cool deal. I know we went nuts and bolts on this one. Been a long time since I've done that. Just felt like it was a good one to do that, really dig into the weeds. So hopefully the audience liked that. Hopefully this, guys, if there was ever an episode to watch the screen share and actually watch the YouTube version, or on Spotify you can actually watch the video, this is probably that one.
Yeah, this would be the one.
Yeah, you can listen to it in your car for the discussion, but go back and also check out the numbers. Very cool. Okay, so Dave, we'll just take a moment to remind people what the Insiders List is all about for REI Hot Seat.
Yep.
So you get access to deals.
Access to off-market deals. We do intake calls, education calls. And if you're looking, buying or selling, we'll kind of hand deliver you through that process.
Yeah. And there's a big education part to it for those who haven't done off-market buying before. Like when they work with you, like I know just from being around you guys, like you do a lot of education as part of your process.
It's probably our biggest driver, I would say. So a lot of clients were, they have 4 or 5 houses, single families, duplexes, whatever, and they're looking to transact into multifamily. And usually it takes about 3 meetings. We'll jump on Zoom, run you through, do an intake, figure out what your general criteria is, and then we take the next 2 to get familiar with the sheet. Like we just zim through it, but we go through line by line to make it more comfortable, and then figure out. Some people don't know. Like, do I want value add? Do I want turnkey? Do I want Hamilton? Do I want Toronto?
Yeah.
Right. So the education process is really each other figuring out exactly what we're looking for, and then from there we just go find it.
Very cool. All right, guys. Well, if you made it this far, please show the channel some love, big thumbs up, and leave us some comments. If there's topics you want us to go over, leave it in the comments. I'm going to go into my account and check all the comments now and make sure that I get back to people. And if it's good stuff, like we'll do an episode on it.
Would love that. Yeah. Any suggestions? That'd be great.
Yeah, please do. All right. Thanks. We'll see you again next week.